Clay's AI agents, Claude, and Smartlead are the only tools you need to transform your cold emails into a money printing machine. And in this video, I'll be showing you guys how to do so without having to use complicated tools like N8N. First, I'll be showing you guys how to build super clean lead lists using Clay. Then I'm going to show you exactly how to leverage AI agents to find key pieces of information. Then use Claude to write up those emails from scratch with everything we found. And finally, how you can reach out those leads using email automation. By the end of this video, you'll have a crystal clear vision on how to cold email and leverage AI the right way to book thousands of meetings on autopilot without having to put a ton of effort in. Now, guys, what is Clay? Well, with Clay, not only are you able to find leads at scale, but it's also a data aggregator, meaning you're able to enrich leads with hundreds of data providers that natively connect to Clay to give you info like recent company news, competitors, tech stacks, contact information, and a ton more. So, there's really two ways of starting with Clay. It's either doing a company search or a contact search. What I mean by that is I did a contact search to find people at companies, but you can also just look for companies to begin with. So essentially, the list that I pulled here was I wanted to find people that are in software companies. And let me go back to this. I want to find people at software companies that are between, the company has to be between 50 to 500 employees. And they have to be in the United States. And the person has to be in their role for the past 5 months. The reason I want to do this because I wanted to target new hires, which is one of my favorite plays to do. And if I just click into this edit source, you guys will see how you can go here and find the people you're looking for. And you can put a ton of information like, their education, their language they could speak, their location, experiences they could have, their job title even, right? But for this, I just want to keep it pretty simple. So we have people in these companies. So the initial list that we pulled, it essentially gave their first and last name, their company name, and then their job title, as well as their LinkedIn profile. So what we have here is pretty good initial step, but we want to take this a little bit further. So the first thing I actually did was I wanted to clean out their job title, because you'll notice here is like, for example, like for this first job title we have for Naomi, it says co-founder dash non-executive director. We don't want to say like any of that in our cold email. We want to just say co-founder. So this is where Clay comes in, and we actually went ahead and normalized their job titles. But you could also do this for company names, to remove like things like LLC from their company name, which is really, really good. But in this case, we can see that essentially pretty simple way, but like it just got rid of the non-executive and it just kept the co-founder, which is exactly what we need. Then, knowing their company domain, what I wanted to do was I wanted to target companies that only are selling B2B, right? So they only sell to businesses, or B2C and B2B, right? But I definitely don't want to target people that are companies that are only targeting the end consumer. I want to be targeting people that are targeting businesses. So this is where Clay comes in, specifically Clay Agent, and this is what I use. So essentially, I prompted Clay Agent to visit the company website, which in this case is the domain of the company that we have right here on the left-hand side, and essentially determine whether it's a B2B, B2C, or both, and just give me the determination like why you think each company is what it is. So I ran this for every single column, and it returned back a few that are, B2C, which we're not going to target, but then we got a few B2B companies. And if I click into this, we'll see that, it gave the result, but also gave the reasoning, right? So for example, like this specific one, it says, Suki.ai primarily provides AI-driven voice solutions for healthcare documentation, aimed at clinicians. Okay, so this is pretty good. We definitely know it's B2B because they're selling to clinics, healthcare providers, all that good stuff. So we have B2B here. Next, what I went ahead and did was I used Bill With to actually determine whether the company is using Salesforce or HubSpot, which is a CRM platform. The reason I want to do this was because I want to target people or companies that are leveraging these CRM platforms because some of my services include, data enrichment and lead scoring, which I want to mention in my email, right? So what I did in this scenario was if I click, for example, if you guys can see, like if I click into any of these like Bill With links, just take this like Suki.ai one. We can see like they're using like Pardot, Google Analytics, LinkedIn Insights. This essentially just tracks the front end code. That's what Build With does. And anytime, a company that comes back with uh, HubSpot or Salesforce, that's who we want to target. So as an example, if I click into any of these ones that has HubSpot installed, I think this one does. Let's see. Um, okay, cool. Yeah, so this one has HubSpot installed. We can see HubSpot. And what I had Clay Agent to do was essentially visit each single Build With page, which I essentially what I did here was I did a formula to combine the company domain um, along with the bill with URL. So for example, it says like billwith.com slash, and then it just says the company URL. That's exactly what I wanted to just put. For example, like the company domain is framer.com. It says like billwith.com slash framer.com. So we know Framer is using HubSpot. And the way I found this information was once again, I used Clayagent to visit each specific build with page and determine whether or not anywhere on that page it says HubSpot or Salesforce, right? And if it says HubSpot, come back with HubSpot. If it says Salesforce, come back with Salesforce. So we did that. And for example, this Framer one, we can definitely see that, it did have HubSpot written on it so that Clay Agent said yes, right? So we have this for each single one, which is the cool part. And all we did was just run for every single row. And you can do it for all the rows, like, the 203 rows I have here. So we have that information. So what we have now is a clear idea whether or not the company is B2B, B2C. We know whether they're using HubSpot or Salesforce, but we don't want to stop here, right? What we want to do now is essentially go ahead and find their ideal customer profile. And the reason I want to do this is because I want to mention my email, you know, the people they sell to, right? Because that's ultimately like what I want to target and what I want to say in my email is like, hey, I can get you more of these types of people, right? More of your ICP essentially, with my cold outreach, system. So as an example, we had Clay Agent actually do a run this column again. So what we prompted here, Clay Agent to do was again visit the company domain and essentially, your task is to gather information and help determine whether a company's ideal customer profile, what it is essentially. And I just gave a few parameters on like where to look. For example, like introductory text on the website, to identify key features on each product that might help, and essentially just giving it instructions on like where to look and find their ICP. So, as an example. We ran it for again Suki. Let's just take that example. And if we click into Suki's website here, let's see what they do real quick. So yeah, so your clinicians want to care for patients, not type of okay. So these guys like it says it right here, the clinicians they sell to these guys. They sell to healthcare providers. Exactly what we like wanted to understand was what these guys do. And we can see here, Clay actually went ahead and found this, right? Oops. Yeah, so it found that, based on the prompt that we gave, it found that the result is clinicians, doctors, healthcare providers, exactly what we wanted, right? And because we had our own OpenAI key that we connect to Clay, we can see like the total cost is like, nothing compared to like, the data we're pulling in here. So really good stuff, but we can see that we got this information for a ton of these rows, right? Which is really good because we're going to be using this. For some, it wasn't able to find, which is totally fine because of the fact that they didn't meet the conditions, right? Maybe they were a B2C company. So I essentially told in my prompt to only look for, only find ICP if they had already met the criteria of been a B2B company. So we found that information. But one other thing that I actually wanted to do was find case studies on each specific website and essentially reference that in my email as well. And you guys will see how that comes kind of together at the end of the video. But um, again, I use Clay Agent once again to actually look through their website and essentially telling it to go through like the testimonials page, the past work, the portfolio, projects, reviews, industries they work with, like all these pages that might exist on a specific website, and come back with like any case studies that were found, right? So like this is really important because like, if you can mention in your email like, hey, saw you guys have like XYZ case study, it's really good because it shows that you actually looked on their website, right? So Clay Agent right now is actually just going and like finding this information, which is really good for us. But for example, like you can see like these guys, they work with OpenAI, and they have that listed as one of their case studies. They have Instacart, Lime as one of their case studies. And if we again, if we want to like look in their website to see if this is accurate, we can just click into it. Go to their customers, and there we go. It says OpenAI, perfect. Yeah, Instacart. Yeah, so ClayAgent was able to pull these pretty easily, and we can reference these in our email copy. Awesome. So after we found that, now what we can actually go ahead and do is actually find email addresses, right? So what I used here was Lead Magic, which is my favorite email provider. Essentially, what it does is it finds each specific person's email address, which is one of the data providers that natively connects to Clay. And essentially, what I had it to do was the only things I could essentially put in here was the company domain, and the person's name, right? So, and then essentially found, each specific email. So we can see like the full name I provided and the company name, and it ran it for every single row, and it found a bunch of email addresses. Another cool thing you could actually do is you can actually add more email providers. Say you don't want to just like, stick with Lead Magic, you can use like Prospeo, Find the Email, Drop Contact. These are all really good stuff, and you could, ensure you actually get a good email address out of every single lead that you find. So we found all the leads, we found everything we needed. Now time's time for Claude, right? So we want to put all this together. We want to put all the information we found, and some of them you guys will see like they didn't meet the criteria because either they didn't have a case study or Clay Agent was not able to find their ICP. That's totally fine. I can definitely use like more of this information later for like a different campaign, but like for this scenario, I specifically wanted to mention their case study. I wanted to mention their ICP. I wanted to mention the fact that they're a new hire at their new company, referencing their job title, all that good stuff using Claude. So what I went ahead and did was using Claude, which is natively integrated with Clay. I essentially prompted it to, give me a really good email, right? And I just gave it like, you're a master sales lead, looking at a cold email list of prospects. First congratulate, and I just put like their first name, so I congratulate this person on their new job, and then I just listed their job title that we have for each specific person at the company, and then the name of the company, and essentially just giving it a few instructions on like what I want the email to look like. You guys can pause the screen to like take a look. But one of the cool things here and really important thing to do is actually give it like an example of an output that you want it to look like. So I wrote up like a draft of like what I want my cold email to look like. For example, like, hey, Lotfi, notice that you got started as a partner at your company. Congrats on your job. Was poking on your side. Notice that your company sells to product managers, product owners, business analysts, which is the ICP that we pulled with Clay Agent. Judging from your case studies, and I just listed their case studies that Clay Agent found, I imagine you're looking to get in touch with more people like your ICP at these types of companies. And then a quick little like offer of what my services does, which is we help businesses find message market fit and fill their team's calendars with qualified meetings, and then open to learning more. And then a short PS statement looks like using HubSpot as a CRM platform. We also do data enrichment and lead scoring. So I ran this for every single row, and it actually came back with a ton of really good emails. Out of the 200 that we pulled, there's obviously like a ton that we got. So for example, like, if we click into like one of these ones, we can see like, it says like, hey Drew, congrats on your role at the head of brand and content at Goldcast. Your work is creating engagement content and AI expertise uh, is really impressive. I was poking on your side, noticed that Goldcast sells to event marketing managers, the ICP, right? And then judging from your case studies, Brandwatch, Hootsuite, SnapLogic, I imagine you're looking to connect with more B2B companies that want to transform their virtual events. boost engagement metrics, and scale their webinar programs. We help businesses find message market fit. Great stuff. PS, I also saw you using HubSpot as your CRM platform. We could also do data enrichment, lead scoring, maximize your marketing efforts. Awesome. Like perfect, right? We have this for a ton of the leads, right? And we have a perfect email copy that we just got. So we don't want to stop here. Now we actually want to send these emails out, right? So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to export this as a CSV file. Once that's fully exported, we're going to go ahead and put this in Smartlead. All right, guys. So we're in Smartlead. We're going to go to create campaign here. And all we're going to do is just import our CSV file that we got. And we're going to save this. And all we're going to do is, again, is like match over the fields from the CSV over to Smartlead. And the only ones we're going to really do is the work email that we have of the individual, and as well as like the Claude file email copy that we got. So we're just going to mash that over real quick. And the work email is going to be email. And we're going to save it next. So we got 28 out of the ones we got. So skip and proceed. And all we're going to do here is just going to like put quick subject line. And what we can do also is like add multiple emails. If you guys had like multiple email copies written out, you can certainly put that in here. But just because we got the first email down, we're going to put that in. So we're going to insert a field and we're going to put final email copy and then just save it next. And the sender accounts we could choose from is the different inboxes that we set up, which is, the reason we have different inboxes ensure that the emails actually do get delivered. We're not sending from our main email account. So we're going to select a few of them that we have set up. We're going to schedule a campaign and press save. And in the final review, we can see everything got mapped over perfectly fine. So we can see for Drew, we got Drew's email, we got Dave's email, with his corresponding email address. We got Gabrielle, we got everyone that we needed from the list. So all personalized emails that we got from Clay. And you guys can, certainly just start the campaign right here. But if you want to create like a second email copy, you can do so as well. But hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. I'll be linking another video of the Clay walkthrough if you guys want to take a look at that as well. But let me know if you have any questions. I'll be linking some materials in the description for you guys to check out as well. But hopefully, you guys found value from this. Thank you so much. Bye.